3I Atlas is a guest from interstellar space that has given us many hidden messages. From forming its tail in the opposite direction to some of its behaviors not commonly seen in comets. Is it a comet at all or a time capsule sent from another world? Its entry into a solar system is also a huge coincidence. But why? And what is going to happen to 3I Atlas in December 2025 that the entire scientific community is eagerly awaiting? Welcome to yet another video on Facts Central. Viewers, the story of 3I Atlas begins on a cold night in July 2025 when a large network of telescopes located in Hawaii, Chile, and South Africa was busy with its routine work. This network is called the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS for short. The sole purpose of these telescopes was to scan the sky and identify dangerous asteroids heading towards Earth. On this night, ATLAS captured a new, faint moving dot in space. At first, it seemed like just another ordinary asteroid, but soon, experts' calculations surprised everyone. And the biggest reason for this was its speed. Yes, normally all objects in our solar system, whether planets or asteroids, orbit around the sun. The closer an object orbits to the sun, the faster its speed will be. For example, Mars orbits at approximately 24 kilometers per second, which is 86 or 100 kilometers per hour. Similarly, Earth's speed is 29.8 kilometers, Venus is 35 kilometers, and Mercury's, being closest to the sun, is 47 kilometers. But what Atlas reported was moving at an astonishing 58 kilometers pace. The problem was that its speed didn't match its location. It was near Jupiter, our outermost planet at the time, but its speed was significantly higher than even Mercury's. This speed was proof that this rock was not part of our solar system, but had come from another star system, which we call interstellar space. This was the point when NASA gave it the special status of an interstellar object and named it 3I Atlas because it was identified by the Atlas Telescope Network. Once it was identified, scientists began looking for its old traces. They then discovered that this object had also been seen 2 months earlier, in May 2020, by another telescope called TESS. But at that time, TESS failed to identify it. Anyway, when 3I Atlas speed proved it wasn't from our solar system, it was immediately given a special identity, and I was added to its name, indicating interstellar. And because it is the third interstellar object discovered within our solar system in human history, 3 was placed before it, and so it was named 3I Atlas. But you might be surprised to know that 3I Atlas is not just a number, it is also completely different from the other 2 interstellar guests that passed through our solar system. Their names were Oumuamua and Borisov. The first was discovered in 2017, while the second in 2019. Both also came from interstellar space, but 3I Atlas is different from both of them. The first difference is size. Oumuamua was 400 meters long. Borisov's core was 1000 meters deep, while 3I Atlas is much larger than both, up to 5.6 kilometers wide. The second big difference was their speed. Atlas was moving at almost double the speed of those two. Apart from size and speed, 3I Atlas entry point was also quite strange. In our solar system, everything Fae planets, asteroids, Fae orbits the sun like a thin disk. The first 2 interstellar objects entered our solar system from above the disk, but 3I Atlas played a strange game. It entered our solar system's disk at a precise side angle. Experts believe that coming in such a straight line is like an arrow hitting the bullseye. For this reason, 3I Atlas entry is also being called a huge cosmic coincidence, a great coincidence of the universe. But where exactly did 3I Atlas come from in our solar system? Tracing the origin of 3I Atlas was like traveling through time. When scientists investigated its extremely high speed and its straight path, they concluded that it came from an unidentified star system currently located in the core of our Milky Way. Let me tell you here that like our solar system, our Milky Way galaxy is also disk-shaped. New stars form here, and it's a very crowded area. But if this thin disk is viewed in 3D, there is a much less crowded ancient region above and below the core, called the thick disk. This is the part of the Milky Way where very old stars reside. Scientists believe that 3I Atlas originated from this thick disk. Research suggests that 3I Atlas is approximately 7.6 billion years old, making it almost twice as old as our planet Earth. Although we cannot determine which star gave birth to it, scientists have tracked its 10 million year journey and astonishingly, throughout this journey, it has not come as close to any other star as it has to our Sunday. When 3I Atlas touched the boundary of our solar system, it was nothing less than a fast, fearless traveler. At that time, it was far from the Sunday, beyond Jupiter's orbit, in cold and dark space. Until this point, it was completely unremarkable. But the first strange turn in its story came when it approached Jupiter, meaning 5 astronomical units away. What is an astronomical unit, or awe? Let's understand it in simple terms. The distance from Earth to the Sunday is called 1 AU. So, when 3I Atlas reached 5 from the Sunday, it began to show its true colors. Normally, comets remain in a frozen state at such distances. But 3I Atlas started forming smoke around itself even at 5 This cloud of smoke is called a coma. The formation of a coma at such a distance was proof that 3I Atlas mostly contains carbon dioxide, a type of dry ice that starts melting even with the slightest warmth from the Sunday. In this way, 3I Atlas provided its first information about itself as soon as it entered our solar system. After that, it entered by crossing the orbits of two important planets in our solar system. First, it entered Jupiter's orbit. After this, it continued to move forward, piercing Mars' orbit. On October 3rd, 2025, the most interesting sight of 3I Atlas appeared. It made its closest encounter with any planet while passing by Mars. At this time, NASA's rovers and probes on Mars also captured a glimpse of this ancient guest in the sky. This capsule, like comet in the Martian sky, is actually 3I Atlas. Of course, the cameras on the rovers were not designed for this purpose, but still, his memorable photo will always be remembered in history. On October 29, 2025, it passed to its closest point to the Sunday, which is 1.4 astronomical units away. This was the moment scientists had been eagerly waiting for, because at this time, 3I Atlas would experience the most heat, and there would be no better opportunity to learn about it. But unfortunately, although it passed close to the Sunday on October 29th, this sight could not be seen from Earth because we are on the other side of the Sunday, so 3I Atlas passed behind it. Due to the sun's flare, our telescopes could not observe its peak activity. The view of 3I Atlas was blocked by the Sunday, but before that, it did something that is still beyond understanding. As 3I Atlas was moving towards the Sunday, scientists were closely observing the light falling on it. They wanted to know in which direction the light scattered when it hit 3I Atlas coma. Normally, when sunlight hits comets and asteroids, it scatters upwards or downwards, which is called positive polarization. Even the polarization of the first two interstellar objects was positive. But 3I Atlas surprised everyone here too. Scientists observed that when sunlight fell on its coma, instead of going up or down, it went back towards the Sunday, meaning its polarization was negative. The surprising thing was that 3I Atlas polarization was not just negative, but so extremely negative that it was the most extreme negative polarization ever discovered in any object. But it's not just negative polarization that makes it unique. As you learned earlier, 3I Atlas formed a gas cloud around itself at a distance as far as Jupiter, meaning it started feeling warm very early. On one hand, this coma informed us that this comet mostly contains dry ice. On the other hand, scientists noticed that particles of nickel were also present in this gas cloud. This is common. However, in other comets and asteroids, iron particles are always seen along with nickel because they are formed from dead stars, and in the cores of these dying stars, nickel and iron are always together. But in 3I Atlas, there were no traces of iron initially. The lack of iron was truly a mystery, and here too, 3I Atlas surprised everyone. Later, when it came even closer to the Sunday, iron suddenly began to appear in its coma. This strange behavior of the comet proves that it came from an alien system, and its structure is quite different from the rules of our solar system. If you think that 3I Atlas only had these unique features, that's not the case. It has also surprised NASA scientists at another point. Normally, when a comet enters our solar system, its tail points backward, away from the Sunday. But surprisingly, when 3I Atlas entered our solar system, its tail was forming towards the Sunday, meaning in the direction it was moving. Imagine you are standing in strong wind, and your hair is blown back by the wind, which is normal. But what if suddenly your hair went forward against the wind? That's how scientists were started to see 3I Atlas backward tail, which proved that it was no ordinary box. Of course, Later, when it came closer to the Sunday, its tail became normal, pointing backward. Research is still ongoing on this strange phenomenon. The current update is that after emerging from behind the Sunday, 3i Atlas is rapidly exiting our solar system. However, two important events remain before its departure, which scientists are eagerly waiting for. So, it is expected that in December, after emerging from behind the Sunday, it will pass through its closest point to Earth. During this time, it will be observed how the sun's heat has changed its composition and shape. Will that also be normal, or will 3i Atlas do something different here too, to surprise everyone? And secondly, on March 16th, 2026, 3i Atlas will again pass by Jupiter. This will be the last opportunity we have to see it so closely. At this point, NASA's Juno probe orbiting Jupiter will try to capture its final image, because after this, 3i Atlas will leave our solar system forever. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found this video informative. If you are new to the channel, then please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video as much as possible.